Welcome back to another episode of the Humble Hustle Podcast. We are your hosts, Nick Jones and Kayla Ebner.
Hello, hello. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
It is a new year. We both spent some time thinking about what we wanted to talk about for the next episode, and we've both been doing some reflecting in our businesses, for 2024 and setting goals for 2025, and just figured it would be a good idea to talk about like what we want to accomplish this year and how we felt about how we did last year. It was a pretty busy year, I think, in general for me. That is how I would describe it. It was busy. And I feel like I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off for like most of the year. Like I was telling you.
You had so many like production days that I could not imagine having the amount of production days that you had.
Yes.
I felt like anytime I would text you, you'd be like, oh, I'm on a shoot. And it was like every freaking day. I'm like, do you ever not shoot?
I know. So I'll talk about that. Like, I have a goal set for that. But it was busy, and like I was reflecting on the year, as 2024 closed out, I was looking back and I was like, what even happened? That's how fast it went by.
It did go by really fast.
I feel like I just didn't take a ton of time to like stop and smell the roses, which there are years in your business where you're going to have to grind and just get through it. And I hate to say grind, but like owning a business is a grind to a degree. And I think this last year for me was just one of those years where I wanted to see what I was capable of. And I also wanted to figure out like what direction I really wanted to take the business in. And I'm still in my building years. I mean, I'm on year 3 now, but it's important to like, take a step back, look at everything, assess, and see what you want to change for next year. And I had written out a list of goals for 2024, didn't hit all of them. I mean, I think if you hit all your goals, maybe you're not setting big enough goals. I also had pivoted some goals last year, like midway through the year, which you're allowed to do.
As you do, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So just want to like talk about that and like ask you about your year and what if you want to do anything differently this year, like how you're feeling,
Yeah, no, I would say I had a good year. Like we were talking off the mic, and it's like, I always, like, I'm hard on myself, obviously. And I always think I could do more, but remembering that technically it was my first full year with Ascend Studios. Obviously, I've been doing this way more than just a single year, but when I think of any business, any company in their first year officially, like, I should probably be a little more grateful because I did pretty well. Obviously, now I need to grow on that and really just hit the ground running even more. But overall, yeah, I think 2024 was a good year, and I would definitely do a few things differently. I felt like, so obviously I wasn't as like busy as you in the sense of the number of productions. But
would not recommend.
Yeah, no, I honestly wouldn't wish that. I felt like I didn't actually have, maybe I'm like forgetting wrong, but I feel like I didn't have a ton of my own shoots. I obviously had a good amount, but I feel like I actually spent a lot of time helping other people, which I appreciate, and I'm like grateful to be in that position where, and like it's been intentional. Like I've purposely put myself in a position to like network with people, have friends who can rely on me and want to hire me to help them on things. And I can't say that I can rely on that to be like an actual source of income, just second shooting all the time. You can't. It's unpredictable. But like I said, I did it intentionally. So the amount of people that I have that are like wanting to hire me, combine that with my own productions, can definitely keep me busy because chances are one of us is going to have something that we'll need help on.
Yes.
And if they need me, great. Then it's like almost a guaranteed thing.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to have you in my network of people. I can count the amount of people that I trust on a shoot with me on one hand. Like, it's hard to find people that you can trust and, trust with your clients and trust that they're not going to try to steal work from you or like just not step up to the plate and do what you ask them to do. Like it's hard, and you're so talented, and I've learned so much from you. Like you were a huge help for me in 2024, like huge. And we got to do this fun stuff together too, which is cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
And I'm proud of you. You did great last year.
Thanks.
Because we don't hear that enough.
No, yeah. I mean, it's hard. And especially this is the first full year that I've been like solo.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also saying this out the mic. Like I was giving you and some other people that we know who are like solo entrepreneurs like a lot of credit, because it is hard to do this by yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely been, I mean, I've been doing this for 5 or 6 years at this point, and it's been like not sound sad, but it's been the most lonely year of like business wise because of how much time I spend alone.
Yeah.
And it's been difficult to like transition into this, like being alone so much.
It's really hard.
And especially when I come to my office, like I'm here alone pretty much all day, every day.
Yeah.
So like I need to do something to not go crazy.
I know. No, it's so hard. And I'm lucky because my dad is also a business owner, and he has been for, I think, like, oh my God, years now, like maybe 10 plus years. It's completely different. He's in telecom services. It's nothing like my business, but he gets it. He has like a part-time employee who helps him, but he's been alone for the most part too. And I can kind of like commiserate with him and ask him for advice when I need it, but he's also obviously going to be on my team, like no matter what. But he gives great business advice, and he is my hype guy. Like my dad is my #1 fan, and I'm so thankful like to have him to bounce things off of. And anytime I feel like I need a pick me up, I call my dad, and I'm like, I've literally called him before and been like, I just need you to lift me up right now. Like I need you to help me and encourage me and tell me that I'm not doing the wrong thing right now. And he is the best, just like a positive source of encouragement.
That's great.
So I love you, Dad. He listens to this too. So
Oh, perfect. I feel like I've leaned on like other solo creators. Like I've definitely I've talked to you about it. I've talked to other people about it as well. Like this like loneliness of entrepreneurship. It's difficult. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I definitely lean on other creative people who I know experience the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can feel like you're drifting away on an island all by yourself. Like
sometimes,
it's so hard, and especially when you hit those low points of just like everything kind of crashing down at once, because that does happen a couple times, and there's going to be struggles that we're going to face that are even harder than the ones that we've faced. But you just like, some people have it and some people don't, and you just figure a way to get through it. Like you literally just have to muscle up and figure it out.
No, that's so
the
true.
reality.
That's so true. And like I love the bluntness of it, because it like that's just reality.
Like you just brush yourself off, get back up.
Yeah.
Get back at it tomorrow. Like I don't know. That's all it has taught me to be so disciplined that you literally just have to like keep going. That's it.
Yeah, so I guess specifically, what do you plan on maybe doing differently in 2025? Or things to improve on from last year?
Like you said, I had a lot of production days. So one of my goals is to limit myself to 2 to 3 production days a week. Or productions a week, not days. So I guess it could be the same thing. But like I don't want to be doing 4 or 5 shoots a week, which didn't happen all the time, but there were weeks where I did that. And not only is that hard on you like physically, and it's a lot of driving and travel, but it's also like a ton of editing and like post-production work. And it just like, I don't want to get myself to the point where I'm backed up with anything. I want to be.
That happened more than I would like to admit this year.
Yeah, it's hard because the editing, like you do all of your own editing, right?
I do all my own editing.
Because I have my friend Chris who helps me edit, and he's awesome. And I would have drowned without him this year in 2024. But yeah, like the editing is the most time consuming part of our job.
I think like I'm remembering this now. Like I'm okay having like 4 to 5 productions in a week if they're not all mine. Like if
Yes.
because this
Yes.
actually just happened to me at the end of the year, right before Christmas. I had basically 2 weeks almost straight of like production Monday through Friday. I think in that 2 week span, I had like 7 or 8 shoots.
Yeah.
Only like a few of those were mine, and I was second shooting for a lot of people. So that I'm okay with because
Yes.
it's just like I show up and I'm done.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about the editing process because I completely agree. The editing does take the more time. And is it still like tiring and like taxing on the body? Sure. Like driving and physically just being there and doing the productions every day, that's a lot for sure. But I'm okay doing that on rare occasions like that if it's like a mixture between my own and second shooting.
Yes, that's a good point. That's a really good point. I wouldn't say I second shot a lot last year, but I definitely did a few, and I like it too. I agree 100%.
I actually love second shooting
Yeah.
because, well, I'll say this. I love second shooting for
The right people.
very certain people.
Yes.
Because like I was saying earlier, the few people that, do tend to hire me, I'm just so close with. And I know exactly how they operate for the most part. So I know exactly what I need to be doing and what won't step on their toes and what will help them the most. Because I don't know, I try and be as like selfless as possible when I'm second shooting. I'm like truly just there to help that person in any way I possibly can.
Right.
If it means being like a bigger role than I normally would, so be it. Like I'm just there to help because they trust me to be there to help, so I will do whatever I can. And it's fun because it's low stress because I can just go home after and forget about the thing forever.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely lower stress. Not that we don't take it seriously when we second shoot for people,
Oh,
but
of
like
course, yeah.
it's not as much responsibility on the back end, that's for sure. It's really nice. So yeah, I don't want to do more than like 2 to 3 shoots a week most of the time if I can help it.
I started doing this last year and I'm going to continue this as well for 2025. I'm really leaning away from like monthly retainers and really trying to shift towards quarterly because I just don't want to deal with like more productions in a short amount of time than I need to. This is coming from someone who used to do, I had a retainer that I would show up once a week for. Damn. And like after that, I'm never doing anything remotely close to that ever again. So now I'm like pretty much going the opposite extreme. I'm trying to stretch out the distance in between shoots as much as possible by doing quarterly. But it also makes sense. Like not every brand needs content on a monthly basis. And then you can easily get the same amount of content in like 1 or 2 days per quarter than like 1 to 2 days per month.
Absolutely, 100%. I think it's so easy to think in our world, like you need all this content. But like you said, breaking it up, it still could last you. If you're strategic about it and you have going with a plan, it can last a quarter.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to continue to make that shift towards and just lean away from the monthly stuff to give myself more time, I guess, because not to sound hypocritical to what I was saying before, when I said I like second shooting because it's like less stressful and stuff. When I have my own shoots, I really enjoy the pre-production process because I like that organizational aspect of it all and really just the coordination of it all. I'm one of those weirdos who actually enjoys that part. So when I do monthly content, it doesn't give me enough time to properly do the pre-production that I would want to do.
I have found that too with monthly retainers. It's really hard to
because by the time you
content.
shoot and edit and deliver it, it's already time to shoot again. Exactly.
I've found that a lot. You have to really be diligent about planning ahead with a monthly retainer. It's hard.
So now, with quarterly, I have at least a month to worry about the editing, then worry about the pre-production for the next production. So it's a lot easier for me to digest and handle.
Yes, I like that. I think that's a good, so I actually had a goal to do a couple more retainers, but I I based it kind of off of a range of like a package and a price of what I would like to hit. So I wanted to get a couple more retainers between 5 and 10K, but a quarterly one, like a more stretched out period, or even like a twice a year thing. So I would like to get a couple more in that range just to kind of keep you afloat, honestly.
I don't even want to call it ambitious. I think it's fairly achievable. I have a financial goal that I want to hit, and I want retainers to make up. I talked to some people about this. I think 40% of my overall goal, I think, is what we more or less landed on to be covered by retainers, because I think that's a solid floor. And then everything else can just be one-off second shooting,
Yep.
which has proven in the past that I'm capable of getting a lot of one-offs and second shooting for a lot. So I'm not too worried about filling that like 60% gap. But so I want a really high floor of retainers to hit the goal that I want. And I don't know, I'm on my way there, but it's definitely going to take a couple more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard, and just figuring out like what businesses are right for this kind of approach. I mean, I think a quarterly package is doable for a lot of businesses. And I think it's more digestible for people too to understand than a monthly. Like that's a lot. It's a lot of preparation on their end too, on the client's perspective. So breaking it down into a quarterly package, I feel like is a lot more digestible for people.
I mean, a lot of companies have like an annual budget for marketing stuff. So if they just cut that into quarters, it's more, I guess, they probably do that already because everyone talks in like quarters when they're thinking about business anyway. So it's probably just easier for them to, understand and just comprehend the numbers rather than trying to divide that again to go monthly.
Yes. I hit my monthly financial goal last year every month, which is great. I haven't landed on a number yet for this year of what I want to do. So
I have a number, but I don't want to say it.
No, you don't have to. That's okay. I understand. Yeah. I don't think I have. I haven't figured it out yet. So I'm going to have to think about it for sure. Because it is good to have that goal. Got to have something, right, to reach for. So
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like also for this year, I'm continuing my strategy of outreach, but what I'm graciously seeing is that the work that I put in pretty much like a year ago is kind of catching up to me, which is like a good thing. It's finally starting to like actually pay off. This is probably the most disciplined thing I've ever been in my life of like how much outreach I have done over the last like year and a half, 2 years. I have done an absurd amount. Like if I showed anyone how much like brands I've actually reached out to, they'd be mind blown because like it surprises even myself. And I've pretty much done maybe 20 to 30 brands almost every week is what I would be reaching out to.
That's insane.
And I took a break for like the holiday season, but starting next week, I'm going to get right back into it. And the consistency of doing that is finally paying off. And like I'm getting more traction and it's actually starting to show. So I'm going to keep doing that until I don't need to. But it's working.
Yeah. That's definitely something I need to be better at in the new year is doing outreach.
It's something that you literally cannot expect it to work soon.
Yep.
Unless you're lucky and like that happens. Like you could blast out 30 emails, whatever, and all of them could hit. Like if you're lucky,
All of
sure.
them. Woo.
But chances are you're not going to be that lucky.
Right.
And it's going to take time. And I don't just mean like a month or two. It's taken me years, but I've stuck with it every single month because I stopped 1 month because I got really busy. It was like last April or something. Last February, I got crazy busy with shoots, which I was grateful for. But in doing that, I didn't have time to do my outreach because I was just shooting all the time. But then come the following month, I had nothing, not a warm lead, not anything. And it was because I stopped outreach for just a single month. I stopped.
Yep.
And that set me back because I lost the momentum. So then after that one mishap, did not miss a beat since.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely something I need to be better about. For sure. Just I actually have a couple accounts that I've screenshotted. Like a couple of businesses have followed me on Instagram. And I like looked into them and I screenshotted them to reach out to because it looks interesting.
All the time.
Yeah. So you never know.
I just had a company, like a supplement company, follow me. And I just DM'd them and I was like, hey, just saw you follow me. Wanted to reach out and we have a call next week.
There you go.
So.
Yep. It's working. It does pay off. You're right. You're totally right. And you have to be consistency. Would you argue that consistency is the most important when it comes to outreach? Just keeping up with it?
When it comes to yes. Like it sounds so cliche and I hate being cliche. But when it comes to outreach, there is zero things more important than just the consistency. Obviously, your wording matters. The portfolio that you're like attaching to it matters. Like your positioning overall matters. But if you're not being consistent, it's not going to work.
Yep.
So consistency and perfecting your positioning prior to outreach is the key.
And the positioning, you mean?
By that, I just mean like making sure that, like your website is up to date. It's portraying the content that you want to portray. All your links are working. Like if your like website link on Instagram is broken or something, like that's not going to do any good.
All the time.
So like fixing all that, making sure everything is working, everything's connecting to what it should be connecting to. And then the simple message, like the actual wording that you're saying, you could easily screw that up and you could sound desperate and you don't want that. So nailing down the exact wording, what you're saying, that plays a part. And after that, consistency.
Yep. It's good advice.
It's worked. So
yeah, I know. I definitely need to be better about it. But chicken with my head cut off is how I was. That was my theme of last year. So not this year. Another goal, I want to update my CRM. Because right now I have a few things that I use that do what I feel like one could do.
You could consolidate a
I'm
little bit.
leaning
Yeah.
towards HoneyBook. You've talked to me about this.
A lot of people we know use HoneyBook. I mean, myself included. And I mean, a lot of people use it for a reason. It's very easy to use. It's very convenient. It might not be the cheapest, but I value convenience over a lot of things.
Me too.
So it makes it easy for me and it makes it easy for the clients to read things, pay things, auto pay. It's just super easy.
Yeah. So that's what I'm leaning towards, I think, just for the convenience of everything. So just gonna get more organized,
Do you use anything for like, I don't know, task management, anything like that? So I use Notion still. And what are you using right
I use
now?
ClickUp.
Okay, you're still using ClickUp? Are you going to keep using that or do you plan on switching
I think
that?
so.
That's
I
been
like
working?
it. It's pretty good because I like the only thing that I don't like about it is the mobile app. It's not as user-friendly as I would like it to be, but the desktop is where I mostly go on it anyways. And I really like that I can break it into, like I can break it down from, each client, like the projects that I have for those clients. So I think that's been really helpful. And I don't think I would look at Notion, but I'm not unhappy with ClickUp.
I used to use Google Drive a lot, Google Docs and everything, even like Sheets and stuff like that. But I've essentially transitioned everything out of Google and started using Notion last year. So like anything that has to do with like documents and like typing stuff out, it's all in Notion. And I have it all separated like by client and stuff. All my discovery call notes and things like that, Notion. What I'm starting to do now is implementing kind of a pre-production, I guess, shared guide, also using Notion and sharing that to clients.
Oh, cool.
Combining that with Milanote, which I use for like visually pre-production. So I can combine the two and just kind of link them and embed the Milanote thing into my Notion.
Okay.
So I'm really starting to dial that down. It's not fully dialed yet, but I'm trying to streamline that type of pre-production process. But yeah, Notion has been key for me. Task management specifically, I actually kind of got away from me. I haven't been the best at that, to be totally honest. I do have something set up in Notion to track tasks and whatnot, but I haven't used it as well as I should have. And there are days where I'm like, I know I have a lot to do, and I sit down on my computer and I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Even though I know I have a lot to do, I'm like, okay, I know I have a lot, but what am I supposed to be doing here?
Right. Like
so I have a whiteboard
prioritizing.
here, and I have like everything listed out there,
Yeah.
as well as like digital. So simply like marking it off the whiteboard helps me a lot too.
Yes.
Like I literally build myself like little boxes to check off.
I love checking off a to-do list item.
Yeah.
It brings me such joy. They actually say, I don't know who they is, but I've read it somewhere.
I've heard it too. Yeah, I know
that
what you're
like
saying.
it's like a boost of serotonin when you check off something on your list.
For sure.
And I've actually shifted my mindset because I think in the first half of 2024, I was making such unrealistic expectations for myself as to what I wanted to accomplish in a day. And it was so unrealistic, and I was just setting myself up for failure. And I actually got I got a physical notebook that like has some preset stuff in it. I forget what company it is, but
Like a planner.
yeah, planner.
Okay.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the word, but this planner it's like every day it has like a monthly setup, breakdown, the
I used
calendar.
to use one like religiously in college.
Yeah.
But I stopped
It's
after that.
really good. And then their whole thing with the daily tasks is, what are your big three? What are the big three things, like your highest priority things that you need to get done today?
Okay, that's funny you say that.
And I love that setup.
I pretty much only give myself essentially roughly three things to do every day because of that fact of like potentially running into I gave myself too much to do and I didn't get it all done. So I pretty much only like give myself like a handful of things that I'm like almost guaranteed like I can do this.
Yes.
Like 100%.
It has
These
really
two things I
helped
can
me.
do.
Yeah. It's gone so much better, and I've been a lot more productive doing that. Like setting myself up with just the three things. If you get to the other, like a couple other things, great. But you don't feel like a freaking idiot if you don't hit everything on your list.
I feel like I've also broken things down a lot too. So I'm ending the final wedding video right now. I will admit it's kind of last minute, so I'm kind of on the clock here. So hopefully
It happens.
I know. Sorry, Sam. I put this one off a little too long. But instead of just putting on my to-do list, edit the wedding video, because that's just a massive task, I broke it up. So like, okay, today I'm just culling through everything. So just like selecting my in and outs. Like that's it.
That's the
I
hardest
can do that. And then like day 2, I'm like, okay, now I'll say like start like the ceremony edit. I don't have to finish it, but I can just like get like halfway through it or something.
Yes.
So I just break it down like that. So I'm like, I don't just look at a massive task that has a lot of like sub steps. I actually list out the sub steps.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, anything that just makes it a little bit more digestible, I think helps. So I've really liked the big 3 setup. I think that's been helpful. And speaking of weddings, I would like to do 10 to 12 weddings in 2025. I only have 2 locked in right now, so it's not looking great. But
I mean, no,
there's
it's
still time.
fine. I mean,
I've seen so many people get engaged. I'm like, I need to post more weddings. I have
it's been
so much
engagement
good
season
content
now. So like
Yes.
we're like about to hit the potential like wave of people
But
coming
most of
to
it's
us.
going to be 2026 though.
Yeah, no, we've already booked a handful for 2026.
I have a handful of inquiries, and I think the people who, want videography that are inquiring about 2025 is mostly the people who like maybe they have more in the budget, or maybe they're like, oh dang it, like I really wish that I got a videographer, like let me reach out. So I'm definitely like I'm cutting up a bunch of reels for my weddings this year. I'm late to that. I was supposed to do that last month, but life gets crazy. So I've got 2 weddings done. I've cut up a bunch of reels. I want to update like my current wedding reel with my new footage. So that's on my list as well. And just get like updated stuff and start posting on social, like at least one video a week from weddings.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of doing the same thing
Yeah.
for our wedding stuff. Like we're actually doubling down on like social media for weddings pretty heavy right now.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok now with weddings. I'm like,
Because
whatever. Give it a
we
shot.
know that people are going to start looking very soon. So
Yeah.
we need to get our name out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're doing a solid job right now. I mean, we had one call that was like a no-show, but then they rescheduled. I admit it was like right after like the holiday, so I'm like, okay, not showing up is fine. But we rescheduled, so we're good. So yeah, I'm hoping for some more 2025 ones as well. I think we only have 5 or 6. I'd love to hit double digits as well.
Yep, I think it's possible. I think still people are kind of like thinking of videography as a secondary to photography, which I understand. Like always, yeah.
I mean, maybe way down the road it will change, but it'll be like that for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in this weird little kind of middle ground of switching, like transitioning into this new tier of weddings that we're trying to break into. So with that, the slow start to this year is kind of understandable because we've never been in this target market before. But I'm hoping that it picks up. And I mean, you had a solid 2024 for weddings, so you have a good portfolio
I ended up
now.
getting 5 of my own, and not a nice second shot for a couple people. But yeah, I was happy with that, and they all were really good too. Like that's what matters. Like all the couples I worked with were amazing. The videos came out amazing. I think I had like one couple ask me for edits, so like everyone loved the result. So that's the big thing is like I want to make sure people are happy.
I mean, that's what really matters.
Yeah. And I love doing weddings, so I really want to do more next year. It's this year already.
I know.
It's so freaky. What else? What I can look. So I mean, like a big one for me is I'm kind of changing the clients that I'm targeting. Kind of moving away from the quick hit social media videos and want to move towards like more in-depth, what we call, you call it explainer videos, value video. I usually call it a video business card. We talked with Tim.
Just a brand video, but they all mean the same thing.
Yeah. We talked with Tim about that a lot on his episode, but I've done a few in 2024 and I really like it. I think it allows you to really like, get a deeper understanding of the business and like form a stronger relationship I found with a client. And, we talked about this off the mic, but it also opens up the door to other opportunities within that business or organization to do other things that they need.
Yeah, no, the type of content you can make for these kind of corporate brands definitely varies. And I think it's a smart idea for you to kind of shift focus. Not that social media is like a bad thing to do, but I think for, knowing what you're trying to achieve and the type of work that you now prefer to do, social media content just doesn't fit that like niche for you anymore. It's too like high turnaround, like fast turnaround, and it's just not the type of content that we really like to do. I mean, I'll still do it for sure, but it's a lot of work for, I don't want to say little return, but it's just like it happens so fast that once you make the video and they post it, it's done.
Yep.
And like you don't really get anything out of it.
Right.
So when you work with these bigger corporate-y type things that are these brand videos, like these videos are much more polished. You can spend a lot more time on them, so they're higher production value all around, and they last for years, not a week on Instagram or 2 days.
Yeah, and I think it depends on the kind of business and the level that they're at, because I do think, like we kind of talked about, you made a good point of, the smaller business type organizations are the ones that probably will benefit from social media content more. Yeah. And like that actually can be valuable for them, because I do see really good results for my small businesses that I work with from Instagram Reels and all that stuff, and just building up that rapport with your audience. But yeah, I really enjoy creating those video business cards and those brand videos. I think it's so much fun.
Yeah, no, we'll probably dive deeper into this in a another episode, but I'll touch on it one more time here. Like I agree that they're fun, and I've done them pretty much my whole career at this point. I stopped a little bit this past year for like doing them myself. I still second shoot on them a lot. But I was saying off the mic after like, talking about it, I pretty much convinced myself to like get back into it. So I'm gonna try and maybe push a couple more of those. Like I still do social media and like social ads for like my e-commerce stuff, but if I can squeeze in a couple brand video type things, I would not be opposed to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a structure that you follow, and like when we dive deeper in, like we can talk about that, but it's one of those things that like every business should have one. Like every single business should have a video that explains what they do and their values, and you can split it up into a couple different ways if you wanted to, but I personally think it's a no-brainer for them to have it. So
yeah.
So I want to shift more into that kind of style, and just more higher production in general. Like I want to do a lot more on the pre-production side. I want to get deep into like lighting and just all the stuff that you talked about, like the fun part of like the before the shoot. I want to do a lot more of that stuff this year.
It's like, I said I like it, but I will say it's not always fun. It's obviously like the like scut work of this industry. It's a lot of documents and like planning and stuff like that. So like, it takes time, but it makes a difference for sure. The best example I have was actually on a spec shoot. So like obviously it's a little more controlled because it's just me doing it. But I did this little spec shoot for this like whiskey, just for fun, but I take my spec shoots very seriously. So I treat them as if they're like fully like normal production. So I spent days putting together my pre-production sheets and just figuring out what I want, getting the song choice down. I like cut the song to a specific length because I wanted it to be like this specific length of a video. And I pretty much had a shot list within my pre-production plan that showed my entire video to a T. Like I knew exactly what I needed, like what I needed to capture, with a few like, I don't know what to call them, like room for spontaneity, I guess I'll say. Like I'm not gonna say like it always has to be exactly this. When you're shooting, things will go wrong and always do, and you might
adapt on the fly.
Some inspiration in the moment that you want to try something random and it could work. So I always leave room for that. But this was actually a case where I pretty much planned it exactly and I shot it exactly. Everything happened to work. And when I went to edit it, I kid you not, I put it together in less than 15 minutes because of how streamlined everything was. The song was there. All the clips were right there. The lighting was dialed. I knew exactly what I needed. And it took me 15 minutes to put it together. And honestly, that's one of, if not my favorite video I've made for products.
So good.
Like it's still one of my favorites.
It's so good. Yeah.
So that is, to me, the proof that the pre-production is such a crucial role. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of my issues when clients want to book things so quick. I'm like, I need time to prep this and like think about this, because that pre-production phase is so crucial. So like, yeah, you're totally right. It's a big part.
I mean, that also just comes with the overall thing that you're saying of like shifting who you're working with. I just think like past clients have been like that we need it right now. Like we need to shoot in like 2 days. But I think if you fully shift and you start targeting just a completely different demographic of people and businesses, then you will run into this a little less.
Yep. You're totally right. What else do I have? I have kind of a fun one. I want to do 2 solo trips this year. One where I have to get on a plane.
Okay, funny you say that, because I was kind of thinking the same thing.
I think I want to do that.
The one thing I'm going to do, because I've said this for like 2 years now, that I want to go in the Pacific Northwest. Like I want to visit Seattle, Portland, like that area, Vancouver even. Because for years I've told myself like that's potentially a place where I might want to live because it has like everything I kind of like. It has the mountains, it has the cities, and if I want, the ocean's right there too. So like it's just like a different version of the Northeast kind of, but like it's way different. Also weirdly, they have great cafe culture.
I was literally just gonna say, I'm pretty sure the coffee there is
so like that's
fire.
also a random little draw for me personally. Like it's a serious thing. The coffee culture there is a thing. So I've told myself for like a couple years now that I've wanted to visit, but I am going to visit 100% this year, whether it's alone or with someone. I don't care, but maybe I'll just do it alone to make it a solo trip.
I love a
Like
solo
fly
trip.
across country by myself.
I love a solo trip. And I know my parents will get mad at me.
I've never done
But,
one like that to that extent.
No, I haven't I don't think I have either. I've like flown places by myself. I love traveling alone. Getting in an airplane alone, there's just something about it that makes you feel like it's just so exciting.
I've gotten on a plane alone one time, and it was the first time I was ever on a plane, so I was actually kind of nervous.
Oh my God.
Dude, it was terrifying.
That is scary. How old were you?
It was actually very recently. I've never been on a plane until I was 23,
Wow, really?
I think, yeah. And it was to
Okay.
Vegas.
Oh my
And
God.
it was actually a horrible experience.
Oh no.
Because I didn't book my ticket. My client did.
Okay.
Or my client's assistant did. And she screwed up my ticket
No.
by like putting my like middle name as my first name or something like that.
What?
And when I got there crazy early, because I was like, first time I'm like going to get here super early. I don't care if I have to sit. So I got there like insanely early, went through and like got to security, and they wouldn't let me through because the name was different than like my license.
Oh my God.
And they're like, you need to go get this fixed. I was like, where? And they're like, just go. And they didn't tell me where. I was like panicking. I was like, where do I go? So I was wandering around and I finally found someone to ask. They showed me where to go. It was this massive line.
Oh my God.
And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I hop in line and I'm like also just praying that this guy's telling me the right thing. I'm like not waiting in this
know.
line for no reason. And it's actually funny because the guy in front of me was like on his phone the entire time. I was in line for like an hour.
Oh my God.
And he was like complaining to his friend. I was just eavesdropping because I was standing right there. And I just gathered that he was on the same flight as me. He was talking about going to Vegas and XYZ and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, and this guy and me are like in the same boat. Like we might miss our flight.
Oh.
And he got to the person in front and there was like probably 3 or 4 little kiosk windows to get to. He went to one lady and then the next one opened up. I explained my whole situation to her. I was like, I'm just trying to get here. The flight leaves and like I need to board like pretty much in 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
I told her the name mixed up. She's like, okay, it's fine. We can fix this. And then the guy, I was listening to the guy next to me because he was pretty much, he didn't have the same problem, but he was like complaining. And, but he was being rude about it.
Oh no.
So what was hilarious that I found funny was they didn't really help him that much. Like they like pretty much said, we can just rebook you on like the next flight.
What?
But my lady, since I was like being kind to her, she was like, all right, here we go, fix this. And then she's like, follow me. And she just plows through the security line, brings me to the front, says, here, put him through. I go through and I rush down to my gate. Fortunately, actually, the flight was delayed. So I was actually fine.
Oh,
But
that's
then
amazing.
I get on and there's an announcement like, this is the full flight, blah, blah, blah. But I have the window seat and the middle seat next to me is empty. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's that guy.
I'm pretty sure it was that guy.
That's insane. And he never made it on the flight.
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
That's
it was,
a wild story. Oh, that's so stressful for your first time.
it was terrifying.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Ugh. No, none of that in 2025. Although people have said airports are miserable this year.
And yeah, I landed in Vegas and like I didn't know where to go. I was like, what do I do?
It is like a little bit of a risk, and like there are not a ton of places where I would travel by myself, like just as a solo female.
Sure.
Like it's dangerous, but like I would go to Iceland by myself in a heartbeat. It's so safe there. I felt so safe. But like for years now, I went to Guatemala in 2022. What a tangent we're on, huh? A travel tangent. I went with like a group trip, and the group leaders were telling us about this volcano hike that you can do to see I think it's called, I'm going to say it wrong.
I should
It's
know this.
Fuego.
My friend is from Guatemala.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the volcano is called Fuego, and you hike up the mountain that's like adjacent to it,
Okay.
and you can see it erupting. It's like
Oh, it's an
constantly
active
erupting.
volcano. Okay.
Yeah. And I want to do it so bad. So like I could see myself hopping into like a group travel trip to go to Guatemala to do that hike. But my family's not a fan of that idea. But I'm like, I'm not gonna go alone. I'm just traveling alone. So yeah, I really want to do that. I don't know if that'll happen this year, but like I want to do one like kind of road trip to either like New Hampshire or Maine or something, to a national park, and then
Okay, I would love to do a road trip
A flight.
because I've always wanted to do a legit road trip. And I don't just mean like in New England. Like I want to drive for like days.
yeah, no, I'm not trying to do that.
I
yet.
would do that.
I would, but
I don't know where to go though.
yeah.
Because like I don't know if I would drive all the way to the West Coast. Like
I
that's
know.
a little far.
Yeah. I would.
So I'm like, where is there in the middle of the country that is worth going to?
Yeah. One of my best friends, her brother lives in Iowa, so I would go to maybe road trip there. It's kind of far.
What the hell is in Iowa?
I don't know, but it's beautiful. Like it's beautiful there. Just like farm everywhere. There's like a couple places, like cities you can go to like nearby. Sioux City, I think. I don't know.
I want to go to, obviously, yeah, the Pacific Northwest is number one. I'd love to visit Cal while I'm over there.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that would be a great
Yeah.
little meetup. And we
Yes.
could like shoot something. That'd be fun.
Uh-huh.
But I really want to go to Utah and
Me
just,
too.
because I went to Zion once, but I would really like to spend more time in that general area.
Yep.
And I don't think I can do this year, but what I really want to do is drive like pretty much the entire PCH, like the Pacific Coast Highway.
Oh,
Like start in California and just drive up to like Seattle.
that would be amazing. Yeah. I want to go to Montana too. Montana's on my list.
I've actually heard Montana's nice.
Yeah. I want to go everywhere. That's my problem. I need to dial it down a little bit. But yeah. So a lot of travel goals in 2024. I have 2 trips booked. I have like a
I have
tropical
no
vacation
I
to
feel like that's
Aruba.
what I need to do. I feel
Yeah,
like I
book
just
a
need to
trip.
buy the plane ticket
Book a
to like
trip.
lock myself in to force myself to go.
Yeah. By the next episode, guys, we're going to make Nick book a flight.
I'll just book it live on the podcast.
That would be crazy. Yeah. I'm going to Aruba and then I'm going to Italy. But those are like personal trips. So
Well, these road trips would be personal trips
that's
for
true.
me.
That's
Yeah.
very true. Yeah. But I don't think I'm going to bring like my camera to these. I mean, Italy, I feel like I should.
I feel like I can't not bring a camera. I know. But
So
see, the thing
hard.
is, what I would bring is, I don't have it yet, but I want one. It's the Fuji X106.
I
It's
got
like-
the Sony A7 something. No, Sony G something. I don't know. It's like the little one.
Oh, okay.
I got one of those. It's perfect.
I want this like the Fuji version of like this like basically like a pocket camera.
Yes.
But it takes like these great photos, and that would be my travel camera. If I
Yes.
was to bring anything, if I only have to bring one, it'd be that.
Yep. And maybe a drone. I can never not bring a drone.
I can live without a drone.
I want to bring a drone to Italy so bad.
It's so weird because like I used to love drone stuff, and like that's why I got into FPV because I was like, I want to be like the FPV guy. I want to be so skilled
Not me.
that like people want to hire me for my FPV skills. And then I just stopped flying altogether, and I'm like, now I couldn't care less
Yeah, I know.
about either type of drones. Like I just don't fly ever.
I think it's fun. I'm a little scarred from my recent experience, but I'll get back at it.
Like at weddings now, I just have stand fly because I just, well, one, I'm not licensed, but 2, I don't really want to.
Right. Yeah, that would be risky. Yeah, so lots of travel goals in 2025
Yeah.
for sure. I do have a couple other ones that are like not necessarily the smartest goals. We all know SMART goal. What is it? Specific, measurable, attainable, time.
Oh, I actually don't. Maybe we talked about this
And
last year, but
I think
don't-
we did.
This sounds familiar, but
I don't know. There's a couple.
I think you're the only one who's ever said this to me. I've never
Yeah.
heard it outside of you.
Yeah, and I completely agree that like you need to set goals that are measurable in some sort of way, but I also have a few that are just kind of like things that I want to keep in mind, and I think that that's okay. And the first one is, it's always worse in anticipation than in reality. Procrastination is your worst enemy. So I definitely like procrastinated on certain projects last year. Like it's always going to happen. I know that, but I want to be
Yes.
better about it this year. And like the way that I have found that really helps me is like I put my phone in the other room when I'm editing.
Okay, no, I've actually started to do something similar.
Bad.
While I'm here, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and I throw my phone on this couch.
Yeah.
And while I'm sitting over there.
So I can't even see the notifications because like if I see something come in, I'm gonna look at it.
Same.
So I keep my phone in the other room, and also like, you know, keeping a to-do list that's attainable for the day has helped. So like calendar, honestly, just keeping yourself organized is really helpful for me for like not procrastinating and not wasting time. And then also like getting my phone the fuck out of the room.
And I feel like we're starting to drag this out a little bit, but it's fine. Long episodes are fine. I don't know maybe I need advice actually. Like, what would you do for my problem is like, I can get super organized, but it only lasts for like 4 weeks. And then I'll plan out, this literally just happened. We like plan out all of our like wedding social media stuff that I've been saying we were like really dialing in.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we have like our friend who's like kind of our assistant, like a virtual assistant who's helping. So I literally just laid out everything we needed for the next month. All of January, we are ready to go. And
That's
like
awesome.
I linked everything, I put it all together, easy for them to post for us.
Oh, they're posting for you? That's awesome.
Yeah, so I like wrote everything down, captions, I gave her like a little leeway, like you can add some stuff, but like the gist of it's there. So like it's ready to go all of January. But now I run into the problem of like, okay, since January is good, I don't have to do anything for like 4 months. But then February is gonna sneak up on me, and I'm like, oh shit, I haven't touched this since January 1st. Like now I need to do it again. I need to find a way to not just drop it and forget it completely.
Right.
And I don't know how to do that because the point of doing that is to be like plan ahead and be efficient and all. But then I just forget about it. Yeah.
I think what I would do is like set a date in the calendar where you're gonna set it up. So like maybe the second week of the month, like block off like the morning on Monday to start getting that content ready, and then maybe like another half day at the end of the month to like solidify everything. I think that's the way that I would do it is like, you know, you're forcing yourself to actually put it in, and like you're not allowing yourself to do anything else during that time. That would be my personal solution. I don't know if you guys have any other recommendations. Definitely send them our way. But
I guess in the same vein, are you planning on like assigning specific days of the week to doing certain things? Because I know you want to do less productions, but like, and I think you've been pretty decent about your Mondays and stuff. But like, do you plan on continuing that, shifting anything, adding more assigned days, things like that?
Mondays definitely need to be an office day still for me and an editing day. I think I'm just going to try to do Tuesday, Thursday shoots. That's it. So that I can have like a day at the beginning and the end of each week to just like reset and like prep for anything. Like especially if in the summer and fall I'm going to have shoots on the weekends, like I'm going to need my Fridays to set up for the wedding shoots, like, and other things.
True.
So I had a lot of shoots on the weekends in 2024 that weren't weddings. Like, so I need time to prep for those and just like take a deep breath and not be running around doing a shoot. So I would say like I'm doing this in real time. Tuesday through Thursday is when I'll book my shoots. And then, you know, if there's a weekend, obviously I need to throw in there, but Monday, Friday, office and preparation stuff. And Tuesday through Thursday, maybe shoots.
I like that. I feel like I would probably do something similar. I actually really like being like at my computer on Wednesdays. For some reason, I'm like super productive, like computer work and like editing wise on Wednesdays.
So yeah, you could do like Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Maybe, yeah. Or just Tuesday, Thursday.
Right, true. Yes, exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I definitely like being in the office on Mondays. Like it's just solid to start the week off, you know, regrouping from the weekend. Because I've gotten pretty good about not doing much on the weekend work-wise. I'll do like a half day here and there.
Okay.
But
well, that's good.
I know it's way better than what I used to do. So that's all I can ask for.
Yeah, this weekend's going to be like an entire work weekend for me. Just like catching up on stuff. But
I mean, yeah, it still happens for sure.
Yeah.
But I used to work like a Saturday and Sunday would just be like a normal like Tuesday, Wednesday for me.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
nothing would change.
Yep.
But now I'm at least a little better.
That's good. Yeah. No, I need to be
So yeah, I
better
like
about
coming
that
in
too.
Mondays, like prep for the week and like, you know, just get things ready. What I do on Fridays is pretty much the day before. So like on my whiteboard, I have my to-do list. And when I leave the office the day before, the last thing I do is to write out my to-do list for the following day.
Yep. It's a really good idea. I think I do that, but I need to be more diligent about that.
It's just easier for me to do it like instead of on like the morning of the day. So it's like I will just put the last bit of brain power I have for the day is assigned to what am I doing tomorrow.
It does make you feel a little bit better too, like going to bed and knowing like what you're gonna try to accomplish the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Couple last ones. Want to enjoy the little things and celebrate the small wins more. I think I need to be better about that. Just taking like a pause of reflection. And this is gonna sound so corny, but I actually used to, like at the beginning when I was starting my business, I used to do like video journals. So I would just do it on what do you call the photo booth app on the Mac.
Oh, really?
I would literally just record myself talking so that I could like look back on it and, like see how far I've come. I haven't done it in months, but like I kind of want to do that every once in a while. Just like kind of an update on like what things I've had going on, like my mental space at the time. And just like, talking about the things that I've accomplished since the last video. Just so I can look back on that one day and be like, wow, I've really come a long way,
Yeah, no, that's a good way to do it.
Basically a business diary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I don't love journaling.
I stopped. I used to try.
Yeah.
But the thing was like I would always just be like trying and I would never actually be doing it consistently.
Right.
I'd always just be in this constant state of, I want to do it and I would try, but it would never actually stick.
Yeah.
So I just stopped trying.
The video journaling is like my version of that, is like of keeping a log of like what's going on in my life and like getting it out there, I guess. Something about writing doesn't do it for me. I don't read much either. I want to read more in 2025.
I don't read at all. It's so bad.
Read.
Dude, it is so bad.
I know,
actually.
Me too.
Like I have friends who read like 100 books a year and like they plan them all out and I'm like, how do you read like 10 books a month?
Everyone was posting their like Goodreads pages
Dude,
on their stories. And I'm like,
yes.
I feel like an idiot right now.
The last book I've honestly read in full for fun, not like I was told to in school, was probably when I was like 12.
12?
Like,
oh my God.
like I don't read for fun ever.
That's hilarious. Oh, geez.
Which is probably why my vocabulary is not great.
I probably finished like one book last year. One. For fun.
Like all of my friends who read, they've like over the last 5 or 6 years have tried to get me to read. Ooh. Like we've gone to Barnes. I like going to Barnes and Noble. I like going to bookstores.
Me too.
It's a great vibe and great atmosphere. I love it in there. Mm-hmm. And then I'll buy a book and I will never read it.
It'll just sit on the shelf. No, same. I have like 4 or 5 that I like really want to read.
There are
year.
2. I think it's called The Silent Patient and Verity, which I know those are 2 like very broadly enjoyed books. Mm-hmm. So like I'm pretty sure it will be good if I end up reading them. But I just never read them.
Yeah, same. Here's something that you could maybe do, because my boyfriend suggested this for me. Read 10 pages a day. That's doable.
I suppose. The thing is, I feel like I will like forget. Like
it's like just like anything, you just make it a habit, No,
not like forget to read. I'll like forget what happens in the story if I don't read like a big chunk at a time.
Okay. Well, I mean, you could always like do more than 10.
But then I wouldn't do it.
I don't know. If you're into a book, I think you could really get in the weeds.
I tried getting into audiobooks. I couldn't even do that. Like I stopped.
You just stopped paying attention. Yeah. I feel like if I did an audiobook, my mind would wander and I would have to rewind like every 5 minutes because I would just zone out.
It's definitely harder for me to like actually digest the information just listening to it. Mm-hmm. If I'm physically reading a book, I can remember it a lot easier. But yeah, when I'm listening, it just goes in and out.
Same. Yeah. More reading in 2025. We'll see how that goes.
I will not make that a goal. That is not achievable for me.
Come on. We'll get them, guys. We'll get them. Lastly, I just want to remember where I started. Not why, where. Because this kind of goes along with like celebrating the small wins. But I don't think I did a good enough job of like appreciating how far I've come last year. And I was updating my website last week and going through some of the videos I've worked on. And I was like, wow, these came out really good. Like, I'm proud of myself for how far I've come. Is it where I want to be? No. But it's so much better than where I started. So I want to take more time. Maybe I have to just look at my old videos and that'll help.
I mean, that's good though, because last year was, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was kind of like one of the biggest things for you to really level up skill-wise.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're seeing it, that's good.
You're right. Yeah. So I definitely feel like I've accomplished that and only goes up from here. So just remembering where you started, I think helps a lot.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I think that's really it for me.
Yeah. We can end this one.
Yeah.
If anyone is still listening at this point, because
I
this
know, we just
is a
rambled
long
so
one and
long.
lots of tangents, but honestly, it was great.
It was good. It was just a conversation. Yeah. That was awesome. I feel like, guys, let us know what your 2025 goals are for your creative business. Let us know what you're thinking, what you want to achieve. And yeah, thanks for listening.
All right, we'll see you in the next episode.